Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. Join the discussion tonight. We're going to talk about taxes, payroll taxes, tax liability, federal taxes, those taxes that you owe. And just to get to more understanding and clarity, especially for my six-figure entrepreneurs, 6, 7 figures, as you're making more money, you really need to understand what your tax liabilities are and what you're responsible for. So I wanted to just kind of chat about that tonight. A lot of times when I go live, it stems from conversations I have with my clients. One thing that I love is the fact that I added a document review, and it allows them an opportunity to ask questions or have conversations with me that, as tax and accounting professionals, we tend to sometimes assume that the mass population knows and understands these things. They've been in the workforce for X number of years, and then we just assume that it's understood or it's known. And a lot of times people don't know these things. And so my platform is really designed to educate and empower. And so I like to come on and have these discussions so that to bring clarity and just to bring some better understanding. For those of you who do not know me, I am Tawana with Bryant Business Solutions. We have a 100% virtual accounting and tax firm. Soon to come credit. The training actually starts on next Tuesday. So I am super excited about that, just to learn a little bit more about that side so we can help start getting our business owners some funding and present additional opportunities there outside of tax season, of course. So I'm excited about what's to come. So what I wanted to talk about is the actual taxes and what your tax responsibilities are as a business owner. So you're a business owner, you're making these 6 and 7 figures, you're getting the money, you're getting the shmoney, and it's tax time, and a lot of times it's assumed that there's just one tax that you're responsible for, and that is absolutely not the case. So for my self-employed individuals, you're responsible for the 15.3%, which is your self-employment tax, that typically, if you have W-2 income, then your employer would pay half and then you pay half. So they're still making sure, though, that you're paying it and you see it coming out of your check. And of course, based upon whether or not you make changes to your W-4, up or down or exempt, which most people should not be going exempt, but I see it a lot. I've worked in payroll for years. I was a payroll supervisor for a few years. So I totally understand that. But the IRS was kind of getting hip to that, and people weren't having any taxes taken out when they should have. So then I saw when I was still in corporate America, where they would have us ask additional questions. You have to sign an additional form to say, I want to be exempt. But as a business owner, you don't have that luxury of somebody paying for you. So what you should be doing is paying estimated quarterly taxes. So y'all know I'm going to go back to it. So what that takes you back to is your bookkeeping should be getting done. Your record keeper should be getting done every single week. You should be getting that done. And by the time that quarter ends, now you know exactly how much you're responsible for in tax liability to pay in taxes every single quarter. And then when you file your taxes at year end, now they're going to say, well, how much did you pay in estimated taxes, that ES tax payment? And you'll say how much you paid. Now, get this. If you owed Uncle Sam from the year before and you paid your taxes that you owed that you didn't pay, you don't get that credit on the next year's taxes to say, oh, I paid them this. No, that's totally different. Okay. So if you have a tax liability that you didn't pay when you should have paid, follow me, you should have paid it. Let's say 2019. Now you're doing your 2020 taxes, and your tax professional, your accounting professional says, well, how much did you pay in estimated taxes each quarter or during the year? You give them that amount. Do not include the totals from what you actually paid that you were already liable for from the previous year, because that's not what those numbers are for. It's for what you paid that was actually due each quarter in the tax year that you owe it. So that's one thing that I've been seeing. Another thing is, understand, as a self-employed individual, if you earn $400 in income, it's a little different. Now, people don't have to issue you a 1099 until you earn $600. They have to issue a 1099. But if you earn $400 in income, you're liable to file your taxes as a self-employed individual. If that is your only, say that's not your only source of income, you made that $400 as a self-employed individual, you need to file that money. Let's say you made $50,000, but one of those ventures that you got involved in, you got in, you hopped out. So you might have earned little or nothing. Let's say you earned $100, but other ventures you earned well over 10, 50, 30, 100, six figures, whatever it is. You still are responsible for filing all of your income. You don't get to pick and choose what income you file. So please know and understand that you are responsible for filing all of your income, and you are responsible for paying all of your taxes. Here's the kicker, though. You got to get some tax planning done, especially for my 6-figure earners, 7-figure earners, 8-figure earners. You got to get some tax planning done. Now, again, everything stems from your record keeping being done, your proper record keeping and bookkeeping. You should not be looking at tax preparation. You should not be looking at tax planning. You should not be looking at CFO services until you've handled the first thing, which is your bookkeeping. That is, you're responsible for that. Oh, yeah. I talk about that all the time. Over here, it says on IG, guys, it says, tell them to stop putting all expenses with whole numbers and no change. Well, and not even so much a whole numbers and no change. So if you are filing, and I actually have that in my audit, my book on those things that will trigger a tax audit. And I've talked about this before. Those red flags for the IRS, stop using whole numbers. You did not drive 10,000 miles exactly in a year. The other thing is, COVID was last year. If you had a sales job, you made multiple 6 figures because you then had to shift to working from home. The IRS knows that you didn't drive 30,000 miles. They're not crazy. So you have to be realistic. And I will tell you, as with Brian Business Solutions, we send you back to the drawing board. Or I'm going to ask you for some proof of those numbers, because it needs to make sense. I need to know that if you get audited, you have your stuff in order. But when you are making money from multiple streams, and it's always said, millionaires have multiple streams of income. That's wonderful. That's great. Multiple 6-figure earners. I want to make all this big money, but make sure you understand the responsibilities that go along with that. Make sure you're handling your business. And if you are not, or you don't know, because Google University is not going to tell you everything, number one. But the other side of that is, it's so much information out there. And then there's so many social media gurus, because you filed, you created your own business, you applied for your LLC, so now you're all of a sudden qualified to do this for everybody else. It's not a one-trick pony, and I say this all the time. And it frustrates me, especially when I see it. And I hear people who make 6 figures say this to other people, and then when those people get in trouble, they can't come back to you to get that money that they owed IRS, or that now we have to go tax resolution route and request an abatement, or request that these funds, be cut in half or whatever. And you're going to pay an exorbitant amount of money to even have that taken care of. Let's eliminate some of these problems. I talked about this the other night, and being proactive in what we do, and not putting out fires. I'm not big on putting out fires. I am a person that I will spend the extra time on the front end to make sure things run smoothly and run so much easier on the back end, even if that means, let's say I want to automate a process. If it means that I got to spend 40 hours on the front end, so now that I only have 30 minutes worth of work on the back end, I'm going to spend that 40 hours. Same thing when it comes to being proactive about your business. I am going to spend that extra time on the front end to get all the kinks out, as many as I can that I'm aware of. Yes, proactive versus reactive. I'm going to work those kinks out, as many as I can on the front end, because of course I find that so often business owners, six-figure earners, y'all don't tell us everything. Like, we have to literally pull it out of you. We have to pull teeth and say, oh, what about this? Or especially if we're, you've been coming to us for a few years and I'm looking going, okay, what happened to this income? Where's the rest of your money? And a lot of it is a result of the fact that you're not doing your monthly bookkeeping like you should be, and you're staying on top of those things. And remember, I said the other day, that is one of the ways that people can, like it can help you audit your books or audit things, so that in the event something happens, money is missing or whatever, especially if you're making a lot of money could be missing. You have no clue because you're not doing an audit of your books, or your record keeping is what it is. It's bookkeeping. You're not doing those things in your business. And I recommend that you do that. Spend an hour or so every single week doing that. And at the end of the month, balance it back to the bank statements. You really should have a professional doing it if that's not your juice, because the other thing is, we'll see things and we can guide and direct you so that now you're making more money. We miss the fact that, one, getting an accountant or an attorney or professional assistance is a tax write-off. We miss that. We don't see it as an investment. We don't look at the long term. We look at the short term and we look at it as a cost, or what do I have to spend? No, it's more than that. It's more than that. How much more are you going to gain from having access now to this person who is going to give you that pertinent information? I did a strategy call yesterday, and typically on my strategy calls, I've said this multiple times, I'll find out where you are in business, where you're planning to go, and how we can help you, and what the services cost. That's typically my free 15-minute strategy session, and I go through it. Well, I had some time yesterday. I had been doing some training, got a little bored, and so I was excited to talk to somebody. I've been watching videos all day, excited to talk to somebody. So he got a few extra nuggets just talking about some additional ventures, because one thing that I know for my business is I want to build these relationships with my tax clients, my accounting clients, my bookkeeping, my tax planning clients, CFO clients. Like, I should know you, and I do want to build and forge that relationship that you're comfortable enough, one, to share things with me, or even mention something to me and not feel like, well, I don't want to ask about that, or I don't want to say it because then she's going to say I have to pay taxes on it. Wouldn't you rather know ahead of time that you got to pay taxes on that than get into tax time and now you got these numbers here that are exorbitant numbers because you're making these six figures, and me telling you then you got a 5-figure tax bill. And a lot of it is a result of not being proactive. A lot of it is a result of not planning properly for these things to occur. Even if you're doing something as simple as looking to purchase a vehicle, is the timing even right? The taxes that you're paying on it, certain things, like, you want to have these conversations, build that relationship with your accounting or tax professional, build those relationships, because this is a relationship business. It's not, my business will never be one. I am from the Low Country, so, hospitality is my thing, but it'll never be one that I can't relate or be personable, or my clients don't feel like they can ask me something or come. Now, some things, yes, would require a consultation because of course my time is not free, but there are times that I'm able to, like, off the cuff, if it's a quick question, something that I can answer, or if they do need to pick my brain, I do have that option available to my clients. But you still want to build a relationship and build a rapport with your professional. Don't make it a once a year relationship that you drop off some documents, they key some numbers, because all that is compliance work. I do a little bit more than compliance work, and I'm good at it. I laugh with some of my brothers and sisters in craft, and I'm like, dang, I'm bad. I know I am, and I can pat myself on the back for that. But I promise y'all, it came with me being in the trenches. It didn't come overnight. So, of course, we should always look forward of where we're at in our business and where we're trying to go. It didn't come overnight. Me having this knowledge came from a lot of mistakes. The knowledge comes from having clients with a lot of weird issues that come about. And so I learned a lot in the process, even down to the point that with my software company, they laugh because they're like, dog, the software better than we do. And I said, yeah, I always end up having something weird happen. So now I learn more than I anticipated learning, but I put that in my little pocket and carry it with me. And this is the benefit that my clients actually have. But yeah, so you just want to make sure that you understand what your tax liability is, where those taxes are coming from, where they should be going, what they mean in the process of you being a business owner, and what income that you earn that you should, as a business owner, that you should be reporting. Now, here's the thing, because there's a lot of six-figure self-employed people who still have a W-2 income, making a nice six figures too. Don't feel like, oh, well, I didn't make that much in my little side hustle, I shouldn't report it, or I don't have to report it. No, you're responsible for reporting that money, period. It is what it is, period. You're responsible for reporting that income. And my thing is, just go ahead and do it. The thing is, millionaires are not looking for large tax refunds. Y'all gonna hear me say it over and over and over again. I read my book monthly, The Millionaire Mindset versus the top 10 distinctions between the millionaire mindset and the middle class mindset. I read it constantly to keep myself reminded, to when my thinking shifts to, when people say, oh, is there going to be another stimulus? Millionaires ain't thinking about no stimulus, because why? They making the money along the way. They don't even qualify for stimulus. So that's where I want my clientele thinking to be at or shifting to. We're not going to have a mindset that's compartmentalized into this little bucket of this is all we're capable of doing. We've been created to do and have so much more. So let's tap into it, but then understanding the responsibilities and what our responsibilities are in the process. All right. So again, we're going to be doing 30 days live. I'll be checking in with you guys again tomorrow. Last night was a bust. IG was working fine, but I went ahead and just did not do one at all because y'all I ain't gonna talk about what happened, but it was crazy last night. And then I had a 10 o'clock training that I had to hop on. But last night I actually had to kind of tap out. But remember, I have the QBO for those of you who are making your six figures, you're making your money in your business and you don't know where to begin with your bookkeeping or how to get started, how to set it up, how to automate the process some, and then to learn and navigate just some basic functions of it so that you can do exactly what I'm telling you to do monthly for those DIYers. I'm also going to be getting away from the whole DIY thing. So you better get it while it's hot, because I'm going to be coming off of that as well. Just because I really believe, truly, wholeheartedly believe professionals should be handling a lot of this stuff, and a lot of issues would not arise the way that they do if we had people who were doing exactly what they should be doing, and that's investing in themselves and investing in their business to be proactive, and then having somebody as a part of your team. We look to be a part of your team to help you grow and see you grow and celebrate you along the way. All right, so you guys have a great night. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Today's Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a good night.